Today I have the honor of speaking to Jens Hungershausen, Chairman of the Board at DSAG and CIO at Mega AG, and Andreas Zorell, DataXstream Sales Account Executive in the DACH region. Welcome both of you, and thank you for joining me for this conversation about current and future challenges in order management, point of sale, and intelligent automation. If you could both take a moment to introduce yourselves and tell us about your current role. Jens, could you start us off?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Lily, for having me on this interview. As you've introduced myself, I'm Jens Hungershausen, and I'm the CIO at Mega AG. We are a wholesale distribution company in the northern part of Germany. We have around about 125 locations throughout Germany where we sell our products. It's basically from the paint business. So paints, varnishes, flooring products, and stuff like that. So we're in a B2B scenario here. So the painters are our main customers we have. And I'm responsible for the IT. And we are running on SAP since 1997. Yes, in my second role, I'm the chairman of the German-speaking SAP user group. So we represent over 4,000 customers around Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And we are engaging, we're having working groups where our members can exchange and get some information and help themselves. But we also try to influence SAP. And yeah, that's basically that.
Awesome. And Andreas?
Yes, my name is Andreas Zorell. I'm representing DataXstream for the European region. Joined 2 years ago, and I'm the first contact for all our customers and partners in all over Europe, but with a strong focus also on the German-speaking market, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Before that, I was 25 years in SAP looking for various e-commerce, order-to-cash, and pricing solutions within SAP product management and sales.
Awesome. Okay, then let's get started. I would like to start with the current state of order management. Autonomous enterprise has pushed order management towards inventory optimization, automatic order creation, and less manual coordination. Jens, where do SAP customers find the right balance between automation and human oversight to get both efficiency and accuracy? And how do they establish a governance model that works for them?
Well, I think the main part is when I look at it from a wholesale distribution perspective, and if I look from our business model, we have a long way to go to be on an automated order entry process. So there are a lot of things which have to be met. So in our industry, especially in the painting market, we still got faxes, we still got calls. So it's really hard to get an automated way to make the order input. So I think the main issue here is we have to get an order management system up and running where every way of inputting the orders are in one interface. So right now, we at Mega, we are working through the SAP GUI, and we can also manually input orders there. So I think the way forward is to get a holistic solution where everybody can input the orders on the way they really are comfortable with. So it might be speech, it might be fax, it might be electronic way. So from an industry perspective, we are a little bit behind the current topics we have, especially with the autonomous enterprise SAP has called for. Yeah, I think there is way to go, but I think the direction as a strategy is right there. But all the companies they have a lot of work to do to really get there.
Okay. Yeah, Andreas, how do you see customers handle this topic of governance?
I mean, in sales order management and sales order entry, it's all about speed. It needs to be fast for every touch point, whether it's in the store where the customers are served, whether it's in the contact center when the customer is on the phone, whether it's in the field sales when field sales reps are out at the customer side. But also if a lot of documents are coming in on email, WhatsApp, whatsoever, it needs to be fast and the accuracy needs to be very high. Ideally, everything is managed with one solution and not with different solutions, so that the same information is available at all the touch points and all the channels. So the multi or omni-channel approach, I think, is pretty important to speed up really sales order entry in the organizations.
And I might add to what Andreas said, to get the right information at the right time for the sales representative. That's the important part. So our customers still have a lot of questions when they placing their orders, and our sales representatives, they have to have fast access to the information to serve the customer.
Exactly. Not just keying in fast, but also getting access to information fast, to relevant information fast. So this is also speeding up the customer journey. Exactly. Thank you, Hans.
Yeah. I think this topic of speed and data connectivity, you obviously both just already touched on it, but just expanding on that, do SAP customers in general see a gap between the connectivity that they strive for and what the sales reps are actually experiencing? And Jens, for example, is this something you mainly see in your industry specifically, or is this a wider issue?
Well, I think I see it in wholesale distribution, and I might even see it in retail. I'm not so sure. Normally, the retail business, they have a specialized point of sale solutions, which are optimized for the retail business. But we, from a wholesale perspective, it is a real issue to get the connectivity, and as Andreas said before, getting all the different input channels together. So you have WhatsApp communication, you have phone communication, you get an email, you get a fax, you get a personal a person in the point of sale who is talking to you. So to get all these connected and to get all the information, even from an online store perspective. Like the customer browses through our online store and he has a question, so he calls up our sales representative. So the sales representative might have to know where the customer is in the online store right now, and to get all the right information there. So to get everything connected there is very much important. And the other thing is, if you want to do like cross-selling and stuff like this, so if you want to enhance the sales experience, especially for the sales rep, you have to get all the information together. And here the new technologies have a huge opportunity to help make a better experience for the sales representative, but also do better service to the customer.
And Andreas, I'm assuming based off what you just said, you've had very similar experiences with customers. And how satisfied are they with the state of their data connectivity?
Wholesale distribution, again, is really a bit special when it comes to order entry, also compared to other industries. I have worked with many different industries, automotive, manufacturing. So most of them come along pretty well with what SAP is offering. Wholesale distribution is a little bit different because there's some complexity in order entry because you need to manage not only the sales but also the supplier side. At the same time, you need to bring the customer demand and what the supply side together. So this makes everything a little bit more difficult in terms of how do we price it right? Are the products available? Can we deliver them? From where can we deliver them? It's a little bit more complicated. So in real life, users are struggling with, ending up in 10 different SAP screens in order to fill the task. While, our goal and mission is to build for them, or we have built for them a cockpit where they can pretty much do everything over one cockpit. Every information should be maximum 3 seconds or 3 clicks away. So that's the design paradigm behind it. And yes, I think wholesale distribution is a little bit special on that. And that's where we have also from DataXstream side a big focus. And I see similar challenges in most of the wholesale distribution companies, whether it's for building products, whether it's for food distribution, whether it's for electronic distribution, whether it's office supply distribution. So challenges are pretty much the same it's a little bit different. It's not 100% the same. So there are nuances and variations, of course. But the overall and general challenges I see they are very similar. Yeah.
And I might to add that SAP is really famous for having everything available. So you can get all the information, but you have to go to sub screens you have to open up different screens and so on. And I think if you look at what we are using as a consumer, like we're having an app, we have Amazon, we are used to just typing in and getting all the information we have. And that's the challenge we have here to make this consumer-based behavior from our employees available in a business context. And SAP doesn't do a good job there with order entry, and they probably will never do it. But we have other solutions, and I think that's the right way to go because that's the experience our employees want to have from us as an IT department.
Yeah. So speaking about this sales process, as we're seeing these fundamental changes where this new technology is available, but we also still have older technology and older processes, how is the role of the sales rep changing? Are they becoming more of a person who has to interact with this technology rather than focus on selling? Or, yeah, and how is it reshaping customer interactions in general?
Well, I think we have so much information available at our fingertips right now. It can be overwhelming. The question is, from a sales rep perspective, I have a question, I have a problem. I'm being confronted with a problem from my customer, and I have to find a solution for it. And I might not know the solution because I'm not so good in this particular space of knowledge. So I have to go somewhere to get this information. And I think it is most important to make the information on a trusted and valid way available to our sales representatives. So if they have a question, they have a trusted place to go. So we make use of all this new technology, but we all know that the large language models out there, they are not always telling the truth. There's a lot of information where you right and left. The confidence level might be pretty low on the answers we are getting. So I think we have to build solutions for our sales representatives where they have a trusted way. They might even get a confidence level shown, so they know I've asked a question and I've got an answer from an AI solution, for example, and I also get, well, I'm sure for like 60% that this is true what I'm telling you. It might be 90%, it might be 40%. So I think the big question is how to make this information available because we have a challenging times ahead because we are getting less and less people knowledgeable for our sales representatives. I think this is one of the biggest challenges, and that's not only a challenge in wholesale distribution. I think that's a challenge we have in every company. So the technology is there, but we have to make good use of it. And to your question, the changing role of the sales representative, if we come from an only order entry type sales representative, like they're getting an order from a customer and they're just inputting it into the system, that's a process we will probably automate in the next couple of years to a very high percentage. I think the changing part is to give information to the customers to solve the problem, because the technology is not always able to solve our customers' problems. There has to be some human interaction. There have to be some human knowledge also, or is necessary to make a good point there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Andreas, how have you seen the rising importance of e-commerce and customer portals affect the relevance and interest in omni-channel for many businesses?
I mean, e-commerce is around for a long time now.
Yeah.
It's around for 30 years now since the whole e-commerce journey started. And I mean, of course, it fully makes sense to offer this kind of self-service to customers. And so the adoption level is very different. We see customers where the adoption level is maybe, I have one wholesale distribution customer for building products, is 1% ordering over the web shop because they are so happy with their field sales representative and the good customer service that they continue to speak to their field sales reps and or just call in. But it's also not a bad thing because it's also a differentiator for them. They get the super customer service and they're doing well. So other customers having a really high adoption of e-commerce, up to 80-90% of orders coming in through e-commerce channel. I mean, it really depends, but of course, e-commerce is the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and from your previous question, also like you said, how did this new world change? I think in SAP or in the old world, it's more coming from a transactional work style, where I mean, really someone is sitting in front of the computer and trying to find things, find articles, find the right price, find availability on the stock. Very often you see people heads down in the stores. Whenever I go in the store and someone is just, I mean, not looking in my eyes, but just looking in the computer for 10 minutes, I know what's going on, right? So we don't want that. We want a good customer service. We want them to have the right answers, and especially wholesalers having hundred thousands or millions SKUs from hundreds of different vendors. I mean, it's really difficult to keep track. And I mean, yeah, I see the new technologies with intelligent agents coming, really helping in the sales process, right? Getting information faster, even supported by voice. I think voice will be a super big topic, and speeding up productivity. Not just typing in things, but just getting help from an agent. I think there's a tremendous potential for efficiency gains in the future.
Yeah, Jens, with the endless tools and products available to businesses now, technology-wise, how do they move past finding the ones that may be relevant to finding the ones that are actually going to make a difference for them and provide a return in the long run?
Well, we're talking about tools for our sales representatives. I'm in the fortunate position that all tools have to go through the IT department. So I'm pretty much in control on which tools are we going to use. So the challenge here is to really find the ones who are able to make things faster, to make things run smoother, and to get all the information. And I'm pretty sure we're talking about AI in general later on. So I think there's a lot of things happening out there, especially in terms of small startups who are solving like small problems. But I think from an IT perspective, that's a big challenge here, because I don't want to get like 10, 15 different tools who are connected to the SAP system. I like it to have everything around my SAP systems, my SAP ecosystem, to be in control on how these systems are interacting with our data, and how they're being implemented into the processes. Because it's a chance at some points, but it's also a big risk from an IT perspective, and also from an IT security perspective. So to find the right tools there is very challenging. And I'm pretty much focused on tools who are able to connect to our basic ERP system, so to get all the information from the ERP system and to put all the information back into the SAP system, because then I'm in control, and it's not like distributed in like different tools or cloud services or whatsoever.
Mhm. Yeah, and Andreas, are you seeing this same kind of caution that Jens just expressed when it comes to finding the right technologies and choosing which ones to implement?
Yes. So let me put it that way. I mean, there's of course a lot of new companies now bubbling up here, solving different kind of solutions. I mean, there's dozens of e-commerce vendors, there's dozens of players for document automation around. Yeah, I mean, the question is like similar, like to an SAP decision. Are you going for kind of picking for the best of breed and choosing, let's say, the nicest and sexiest tools for each and every process, or more looking, let's say, for one solution which can cover most of the process or all of the processes? There might be pros and cons for every strategy. So of course, I mean, we from DataXstream, we're more focusing on offering one solution for all the different most of the different processes. But yeah,
Mhm.
but still, it could make sense to mix and match here and there based on the individual circumstances, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jens, where are you seeing the greatest need for customized point of sale or order management solutions versus customers who are well served by standard out-of-the-box functionalities? And what's the role of SAP Partners in helping customers find the right solution for them?
Well, I think it's pretty much an individual decision on how the order entry process is defined in the company. So there might be a standard ways working for some customers. For other customers, they have to be customized or in an individual way. I don't think that we will have one standard way for each and every customer out there, because everybody has some more need for information here or there, and maybe a special process here. So I think basically we will all the time have some customizations, and hopefully it's only customization, it's not modification. So to be in a standard way, but it will vary from a customer to customer.
Got it.
I forgot your second question.
Yeah, I think the second question was focusing on the role that SAP Partners play in helping these different customers with their specific needs.
I think the SAP partners have a huge role and also a huge responsibility, because the SIs, the system integrators, they're advising the customer, and normally the system integrators or the partners are the trusted source for the customer. So normally, especially the mid-sized customers, are not doing projects directly with SAP. So they have to have some partner in between, and the customer has to really trust the partner. So the responsibility the partner has is huge to make a good relationship and to give good advice to the customer. So it's really important to choose a really good partner for your projects. I've seen this for the last, like we implemented in 1997. And we are still working with our partner who has done the implementation back then. So you really have to see that you have to have a valid partner and a trusted advisor. So the responsibilities the partners are having is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned before, I would like to just take a look at AI now. This is obviously a huge topic. A lot of companies are approaching AI by layering platforms on top of their existing systems rather than rebuilding around an AI native operating model from the ground up. Do you see real problems with that approach, or is it a practical and reasonable way to get value from AI without the risk of a full rebuild?
Well, I'm a strong advocate for first identify the problem. And if I have identified the problem I have in my processes, then I can choose the right tool to solve this problem. And AI, and especially the generative AI and all the stuff around agents and autonomous enterprise and so on, is just another tool. We have a lot of different tools in our toolbox from an IT perspective where we can solve problems with. And I really like to first identify the problem and then see which tool I need to solve the problem. I think basically the strategy from SAP to embed AI into existing processes is the right strategy. I really like the approach of not being the next tech vendor for creating an own large language model, but more of having a platform I can connect to all the different technology suppliers out there, and then make use of these technologies inside my SAP processes. So I like this approach. The thing about having a platform above it mainly comes from where can I get my data synchronized. So I believe, and when I look at our company here, the biggest asset we have is our data, but we don't make use of our data. So I believe that using AI for getting all the data combined to match the data, to organize the data, and then if I have a business problem and I need some analysis, I don't want to create some queries and interpret them and make it in Excel and using some formulas in Excel. I just want to ask a question, and all my data in my platform is there, and the AI orchestrates this data and then gives me the right answer. I think that will be one of the most important things where AI can really make a benefit, especially also in the smaller and or even mid-sized companies. They usually don't have some analytics department or controlling department at large where they can do this analysis. So their AI can really make a difference.
Yeah. Andreas, I can imagine that you also encounter customers who maybe try to avoid large-scale foundational restructurings and instead try to improve their operations by layering additional products. At what point does layering AI tools specifically onto an existing platform stop being a quick fix and maybe become its own form of technical debt for the company?
Yeah, I think it's a very technical discussion, and it when I hear about AI, there's a lot of technical presentations and discussions. I think the winning, I mean the winning themes will be really to show how to improve the business outcomes for corporations. Could be different ways how to improve the business outcomes. One is definitely I mean, the companies will be successful who will build agents and solutions which really help also the users in sales, sales and service in, I mean, really speeding up their business with the customers. I mean, there are great possibilities what you can ask an AI system in terms of where are the products available? Did we have similar challenges with this one? I mean, you just basically can ask pretty much everything, and it comes up with good answers. And I mean, instead of logging on to systems, searching, typing in, you know, the old world of opening up the laptop and looking for something, I mean, you basically ask, hey, what was the average price we gave this customer in the last months, and what was the highest and lowest? And it will just tell you. And when is it available? From which supplier can we get it? Can we ship it directly to the construction site? Is there a promotion on this? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you really move away from typing and going into basically speaking and getting support from a system. And this is where I see huge productivity gains. And I mean, if you do the productivity gains, I think these solutions will win the market at the end of the day, who really create the business outcomes for corporations, and really moving away from a more technical discussion into a business outcome discussion. Yeah.
But one of the defining factors there will be, is the system with all the cost which AI causes, is it cheaper than the human who's doing it? And that's what we are seeing. We have lots of ideas of automating processes, but if you really look at the costs which are being created through the use of AI and large language models and all the tokens, which are not priced at a real level right now, because there's still not the right price from the LLM vendors. I think that will be a defining factor as well. To see, to raise a business outcome, the AI solution has to be cheaper than the human who's doing the process manually.
Yeah. Now, one more question. I want to take a look at the future. So if you had to pick one area, Jens, whether that's order management, point of sale, or something else entirely, where you think autonomous enterprise is going to make the most visible difference for businesses in the coming years, what would it be?
I guess the order management is one of the defining factors. We already have a huge volume of automation in our financial department, so that's basically one of the departments where there's a lot of standards around. So it's fairly easy to do some automation there. I can really see gains in supply chain, because in supply chain you have data available. So there is a real opportunity for being on autonomous processes there. But from our perspective, I think auto management is one of the defining parts.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jens and Andreas, for joining me today. This was an awesome conversation, very educational, very informative. And thank you both so much for your time.
Thanks, Lily, for having me.
Thank you so much.